The 2011 inductees into the Pro Football Hall of Fame are coming close. We want to look at each guy individually. First up, a guy you're pretty familiar with, Hub, Richard Dent, the star from the Chicago Bears, one of the best of all time.
Yeah, I got a unique look at Richard's career. I was the color commentator on the Chicago Bears radio network for most of the games he played as a Chicago Bear. One of the truly great pass rushers of all time. Remember, sacks weren't really an official statistic until I believe 1982. Richard comes out of Tennessee State in 1983 and immediately becomes a factor. The Bears stole him late in the draft because he was a 237-pound defensive end. Bill Tobin was working for Jim Finks at the time, two legendary scouts, and they discovered that he'd had a lot of dental problems in college. He couldn't keep food down. He couldn't eat as much as he wanted. They got his teeth fixed. He packed on about 30 pounds, and next thing you knew, became a perennial Pro Bowler at defensive end.
I think a lot of people kind of forget about Dent. You know all the other names that were on that great Bears defense, the Singletaries and the Refrigerator Perrys and all those, but really he was such a key that I think maybe gets overlooked sometimes.
Well, and he was the difference maker on that defense. Remember, he was the Super Bowl MVP. He was one of the few who did go and get another ring somewhere else with the 49ers in the 90s. Now, albeit he spent part of that year on IR, but he was a factor well into his mid-30s. He was a Pro Bowler on a regular basis. Talked to his fellow Hall of Famer and teammate Dan Hampton about him the other day, and Hamp was saying, you know, under Buddy Ryan, we had what we called catchers and wreckers. He said, and up front, I was a catcher. The Fridge was a catcher. You know, you've got Mike Singletary, another Hall of Famer, was a catcher, Gary Fensick, but the wreckers on that defense were the linebackers, Wilbur Marshall and Otis Wilson and Richard Dent. And according to Dan Hampton, Richard Dent, one of the great wreckers of all time when it came to disrupting an offense and playing in the other team's backfield.
Richard Dent, one of the best players on one of the best defenses of all time, definitely a Hall of Famer. For full coverage of the NFL, be sure to check us out at ProFootballWeekly.com.